My name is Linda Beck, and today I'm going to talk to you about attention getters and anxiety in your speech and thesis statements. Not very exciting, is it? No, but I can't tell you how many of my students start their speeches that way. And as I'm sure you can guess, it kind of drives me a little crazy. So, I want to talk just very briefly this Friday afternoon about what's coming up next week in week 4, not 8, 4. Um, and that would include having strong attention getters. Also, going to talk about the dreaded thesis statement and a little bit about anxiety. So, as you can see from that little example, try to come up with an attention getter that is really going to make us sit up, stand up, and pay attention. Uh, that is your first impression with your audience when you're doing a video. And so if you really go, hi, my name is Linda Beck, and I'm here to talk to you about attention getters, you're not going to draw them in. So you have to have something really exciting from the get-go. You'll read more about that in your text, and you'll also have an opportunity to come up with 3 different examples and then get feedback from your classmates on which ones they think would work the best. And of course, yours truly will also be weighing in uh, to make sure that we really, really, really hit those strong attention getters. So that's the first thing. Second thing that I want to talk about is the dreaded thesis statement. And many of you are probably going, no, no thesis statements. And yes, you are required to have one, a thesis, an overview statement. And really, you'll notice that I do that in all of the recordings that I give. And the reason for that is because you're not following along with, once again, I do have my written notes here, you're not following along with those. So I need to be able to give you a framework that your brain can kind of cue into, that you know what it is that's going to come. So when I start my videos, I say, I'm going to cover these 3 things or 4 things or whatever it is. And that's really, in public speaking, that's really all a thesis statement is. Shh, don't tell your English comp teachers. Okay? I have the formula in there in the module, in module 4. And really, all it is saying, today I'm going to tell you about, and then you list your 2 to 5 main points. And that's all you really need to do. English comp professors may have you spice that up a little bit, but really that's all a thesis statement is. So follow the formula, and it really should be a piece of cake. So we've talked about attention getters, we've talked about the dreaded thesis statement, and the other thing that we're going to talk about just briefly this week is talking about anxiety. I know that many of you have already talked about this and having at least some level of anxiety with taking a speech class, and that is totally normal. And that's what we're going to find out about. You're going to watch what I think is an excellent video about anxiety, and it gives you some really, really good tips for how to overcome that. Next week, in week 5, you're actually going to be recording your first video for class. It's not really graded. It's one of those where if you do it and follow the instructions, you get the points. But it's an opportunity for you to practice, making sure that you know how to use everything in class that we use. And the subject matter of it is going to be, how are you going to manage any anxiety levels that you have? So let me just tag on one other thing while I'm chatting with you this week, and that is I've given a number of you feedback on your topics for your weird news speech, and I strongly encourage you to go back in and read all the feedback that you've been getting on that, as well as any feedback that I may have given you on the How Do You Like My Outline feature. So please make sure that you go back in, you read those comments, and most importantly, to remember that your first speech is a speech to entertain, and you really shouldn't have to be doing a whole lot of research for it. You may need to, based on looking for an attention getter, you might want to look up a quote or something like that, or a startling statistic, but really it's not a research speech. and you're not here to inform us about anything other than what that weird news article is about. I also encourage you to read through my comments to other classmates because you might find something out there as well. So that is it for your week 3 into week 4 video. And we did talk about attention getters and making sure that they're not really dull and boring, and that you really do something to bring your audience in. We talked about the dreaded thesis statement and how following the formula will make your life a whole lot easier. We also talked about a little bit about anxiety and just a little tidbit about your upcoming weird news speeches. So I hope that this finds you well, and I will see you on the discussion boards because we have 2 of them this week. All right, take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.